VYGOS is Vihangam Yoga Global Online Satsang, scheduled every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Those who would miss to attend the Saturday session can listen to the broadcast of replay on Sunday at 4:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. The aim of this forum is to give the entire globe an opportunity to learn the ancient science of meditation and benefit from this pious service inspired by Sadhguru Sadhguru. Please feel free to write to us at info@vihangamyog.org.
Jai Sadgurudev to all. A warm welcome to all of you on board this platform of online satsang series. I am Anurag, they are gifted with unique and with several talents and abilities. All of us carrying our own set of strengths and weaknesses, and thus postulating a specific personality of our own. Today, we are going to have discussion and reflection upon one such element of our personality, the element of fear. What is it and how can it be managed? And can it be managed at all or not? I remember in my childhood, and of course, I am quite sure all of us can recall in similar fashion some or the other incident wherein we developed fear for something for the very first time. I had no fear of fire unless I experienced the same for the first time when I burnt my own fingers. This is a very small but a very significant and a relevant example. How does fear develops? Does fear an outcome of consciously, unconsciously accumulated experiences within the realm of this conscious programming, within the realm of the soul's journey? Or is it simply put the inability of our intellect to comprehend something very unfamiliar? Moreover, is it possible to win over such an aspect of our personality? Or can we manage it somehow? Where does and how does the concept of spirituality, the greatness of Sadhguru's Gyan, help us with it? Questions so many, and for answers to many more, we have the prime speaker of the day, Rahul Ji, who is joining us from Spain today. He is a mathematician by profession and works in the area of artificial intelligence and has been a part of this Vihangam journey for almost a decade now. In short, he is a blend of nature, the science, the advanced science, and finally the spiritual science. This platform is privileged to have you as the prime speaker of the day, Rahul Ji. As usual, I'm also accompanied by our global speaker panel. We have Vinita Ji, we have Rekha Ji, and we have Tulika Ji, who are joining us from USA. I thank you for your continued seva on this platform. Then we have Abha Ji, who is joining us from Australia. And I myself am joining from Tokyo, Japan. We will now get started with our regular traditional way of starting the session, where we start by welcoming our Sadhguru Dev to bless this occasion with his divine energy by reciting Swagat Gan, which will be later followed by Mangal Gan. With Mangal Gan, we immerse ourselves in the thoughts of Sadhguru Dev and pray to him to eradicate several kinds of differences prevailing in the society, prevailing on this earth as of now. And we pray for the universal peace. I request and I hand over the control to Vinita Ji, who has joined us from USA to recite few lines of Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan. And to all our seekers, I would say that the forum, the slido.com/bygos is already open to start posting your questions if you already have it. We will take them later together with Rahul Ji in the Q&A session. Over to you, Vinita Ji, for Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan.
Thank you, Anurag Ji. Jai Sadhgurudev to all. स्वागत गान। आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर, संत शुभागम आइए। अध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति, सोम रस बरसाइए। दोष दुर्गुण दूर करके, शुद्ध हंस बनाइए। भेद गम गति ज्ञान गर्जन, शक्ति द्वार हटाइए। खुले द्वारा शब्द सागर, भक्त जन अनवाइए। जन सदा फल विश्व शिक्षक, शान आन बचाइए। आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर, संत शुभागम आइए। बोली सदगुरुदेव की जय। मंगल गान। विश्व शांति नाम मंगल, परम गुरु को ध्याइए। वर्ग द्वंद अशांति दूर कर, भाव भेद मिटाइए। सार्वभौम समष्टि सत्ता, ध्यात्म राज बनाइए। भेष भाषा भाव जग में, ज्ञान पर दर्शाइए। समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल, स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए। विश्व शिक्षक जन सदा फल, नीति स्वर अपनाइए। विश्व शांति नाम मंगल, परम गुरु को ध्याइए। बोली सदगुरुदेव की जय। Back to Anurag ji.
Thanks a lot, Vinita ji, for putting forward these soulful words of Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan across. Thank you very much. With this prayer in the holy feet of Sadgurudev, with this prayer to the divine energy, we move towards the next segment of the session, where we recite certain relevant compositions from this unparalleled creation of Sadgurudev, the Swarved. This book was written by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj on his path of his spiritual exploration. What is so unique about this book is that the source of knowledge in this book is not a reference from anywhere else in the world. The source of knowledge in this book is based upon Sadgurudev's own spiritual experiences of Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahma. So let's hear some relevant compositions from this book. I request Abhaji from Australia to recite few compositions from this holy scripture. Abhaji, over to you.
Thank you, Anurag ji. Jai Sadgurudev, everyone. Today, as per topic, I will be reciting Swarved Dohas, which are based on fear. Fear of what? Fear from what? Darkness, death, or just fear of anything related to materialistic world? The answer to this question is to have full control on your mind, because mind is the one who tries to tangle one's thoughts in between all worldly desires, and if one comes across of doing the spiritual aspects, still mind creates fear in the heart of the darkness and death, heart where the soul resides. But Sadguru Sadafal Dev has written very clearly in Swarved that if a seeker follows his described path very sincerely, he has taken a vow that he will definitely free those souls from the bondage of life and death cycle in 6 months' time. If seeker is following Sadguru Dev's technique very sincerely, then there is no fear or darkness remaining. It all goes away in no time. Swarved पाठ मन मरते इंद्रिये मरे अंतर कमल सुवास लक्ष्य शांत स्थिर रहे चेतन अनुभव भास. After Chetan vision appears with the smell of 8 lotus, man dies. In other words, the absence of mind is felt. After mind disappears, then in Sadguru Dhyay, Chetna becomes peaceful, calm, and Chetan Brahma Prabha starts manifesting inside the soul. एक एकांत दो द्वंद है, 3 ग्राम समजान, 5 ग्राम सममानिए, भजन एक परमान. Sadguru Dev has described in this couplet the conditions of mind while meditating. When no one is in your thought, it is considered as your own self. When you are struggling between two things, then most likely fear of fight or unpeace can take place. Therefore, combination of two is not an appropriate. When you are thinking about 3 different subjects, it is considered as if you are fighting with the whole village. So combination of 3 is considered as village, which is very difficult to sort out. Where it is group of 5 different thoughts, it's considered as whole city, which is impossible to sort out. Therefore, Sadguru Dev is expressing the situation of the mind in this couplet. In this couplet, Sadguru Dev says that the best technique or process to do bhajan is to leave behind all above kind of thoughts and become alone, and at the level of soul start doing bhajan where there is no struggle between the thoughts. In other words, to become thoughtless. पलट प्रकृति विलोम को कारज कारण होय, मरे दोष में प्रकृति का हंस असंग समोय. By following Sadguru Dev's techniques, Sahaj Yogi converts the outer energy to inner in ascending order, taking towards its root, and disables its action and also destroys the struggle between the Trigunas and becomes Trigunatit and achieves Parbrahma. कारण मंडल प्राण को कारण मंडल प्राण जो पहुँचे योग विधान, मन पंगु तब होत है द्वंद मिटे दुख खान. When pranas reaches to its point of origin through the yoga technique of Sadguru, the mind becomes motionless and calmed down. This is due to the fact that man is only active when it is associated with pranas. Pranas and man have a very strong connection. When prana is calm, man becomes actionless or speedless. And when man becomes actionless, then the struggle within the senses ends. When senses struggle ends, all the sorrows disappears. मन अरु प्राण संघर्ष में आत्म विजयी होय, प्रभु सुमिरन और भजन में अब कोई विघ्न न होय. Once Chetan Shakti appears, soul conquers the battle between man and pranas. Therefore, there is no hindrance in bhajan and praises of Lord. In connection between the man and pranas, Jivatma goes through lots of pain and sorrows, which creates various hurdles in spiritual upliftment. When the soul achieves Chetan Prakash after being victorious in their struggle, then the devotion and supremacy of the eternal Lord is done. The soul attains the holy happiness only after being calm and praising Lord in the pure form. Jai Sarudev. Over to you, Anurag ji.
Thank you, Avaji, for this wonderful insight from Survey. How wonderfully you started saying fear of what, fear from what, and how to get over this fear. कारण मंडल प्राण जो पहुंचे योग विधान, मन पंगु तब होत है दंड मिटे दुख खान. The explanations given by you, the explanation of the same written by Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. It's so simple, so great, and so wonderful. It is when the man is rendered helpless through the yogic technique of Sadhguru, through the yogic jnana of Sadhguru, there ends all the conflicts among our senses, which ultimately leads and is the cause of all our distractions, confusions, and sufferings. Thank you very much again for this wonderful insight from Survey. To reflect now deeper into this topic, to understand this topic in a little detail, now for the next 15-20 minutes, I take you to the prime speaker of the day, Rahul ji. We are privileged to have you on this platform, and now I hand over the control to you to take us further, to take us to the next milestone in this journey. Rahul ji, over to you.
Satchidananda Rupaya Visupatyadihetave Tapatte Vinasaya Vayam Sri Guruve Namaha. Good afternoon from Spain. Thanks for inviting me, Anurag ji. I hope everything is all right at your end. I believe you all can. Okay. My cordial regards goes to everyone joining this live session from different parts of the globe. In today's session, we will investigate together this factor of disorder, which we call fear. We will try to decipher fear, which is something that we did not discover recently. It is in the existence since time immemorial. It is fundamentally, deeply wired reaction which has evolved over the history of biology. There is an inherent time factor that plays the role. The question is, can time solve the problem of fear? And should we deal with fear one by one? Because fear can be categorized. There is this physical fear, fear of losing someone in relationship, fear of not being able to arrive. There is fear of failures. In the early days, the fear syndrome was meant to protect you from the dangers in your environment, like the one, as you mentioned, Anurag ji, that is fear from fire. But nowadays, fear often centers around emotions rather than physical dangers. Although our body does not know how to distinguish between the two. So let's start with a simple thought experiment. So imagine What will happen when you see the tiger in the wild, in the jungle? Our mind triggers a strong fear reaction. But the response to a view of the same tiger at the zoo is more of a curiosity. And then suddenly you think that that tiger is cute. Oh my God, that tiger is cute. So what lesson do we get from this simple thought experiments? And I can design many more experiments. But what is the takeaway message? The takeaway message is context, distraction, and social learning have potential to influence the way we experience fear. A common theme that connects all of them is our sense of control. The first situation was not in our control, but the second situation was in our control. So this perception of control is vital to how we experience and respond to fear. Having said this, can human minds be free from the deeply rooted fear of modern world that is logical, irrational, neurotic, and existential, in which somebody is worried about its survival? The answer is yes. But at the same time, it's a gradual process. So let's understand fear holistically. So fear reaction starts in the brain. And the brain always wants to code a pattern. Through recognition and association, the mind cultivates fear. Some negative experience must have happened in the past, and we are afraid of something similar happening in the present. Our mind tricks us into believing that similar circumstances as the event will lead to some frightening outcome. And we have been so heavily conditioned in the past the motive of pleasure and gratification that we always limit our total attention to pleasure. The pleasure and fear are both sides of the same coin. The problem is we want one and we don't want the other. We can manage fear only when we understand real pleasure in its entirety. Question is, what is pleasure? Pleasure. सद्गुरु नियम विवेक से चलना सो सुख जान, आरत दीन अधीन है मां सुखी जगरान. The ultimate pleasure is in living the life in the service of Sadguru. Complete surrender to Sadguru. Surrender, which is amazingly powerful word. It makes me brave enough to follow the invisible power to tackle the unknown fear. One can call him the which will be guided by the energy of the self. Once you understand this, बिन जाने दुख देत है जाने कर सहाय. The moment you start observing this trick of evil mind, it will help you in overcoming the fear. It will awaken the whole structure of the fear. Surrender will help you explore the genius within you. Let's say if you want to start some entrepreneur work, you have fear of failures, whether it will work out or not. Just start your job, just surrender everything. And then you don't act to impress others, you just enjoy the act. Because निज स्वभाव प्रतिकूल जो विवश वर्त न होए, पराधीन जीवन जगत दुख लक्षण यह सोए. No matter what minuscule action you perform, again, your innate character or sanskaras it's gonna give you pain and misery, which ultimately transform into fear.
Excuse me,
The
Rahulji.
fact-
Excuse me,
Yes.
Rahulji. Your voice is vibrating. Can you make it a little better by keeping little distance from the mic?
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, Rahulji, go ahead.
So depending on your innate character or sanskara, you'll feel the experience of pain and misery, which ultimately transform into fear. The fact of the matter is, we as a human being are not taught to tap into altered state of awareness. By tapping into traditions of Lingam Yoga meditation, the development of consciousness can enable us all to dwell in the present moment, which is the power of now, which will let go of fear and painful memories that keeps us away from achieving happiness and self-realization. Finally, I want to end this on slight contradictory note that sometimes fear are also our allies. If you are paralyzed with fear, then sometimes it's a good sign. It's an indicator and tells us what we have to do. But remember one rule of thumb: the more scared we are of work or calling, the more sure you can be, but you have to do it. Thanks a lot, Anuragji. I pass over the mic to you.
Thank you, Rahulji. Thank you for the short but wonderful explanation, for a wonderful discourse on the concept of fear itself. Basically, very wonderfully, you connected pleasure and fear. I must congratulate you for this. Often when we are discussing such kind of concepts, we do forget the other aspects of it. Pleasure and fear, same coin, both two sides. Then you brought out how through complete surrender to the lotus feet, to the seva of Sadhguru, how can we get rid of it? I can already see I can already see the questions on slido.com, how our speakers are reacting to it, what kind of thought process our seekers are having. And we are going to take those questions and some questions from the previous sessions which are related to this topic in another 5 to 10 minutes from now in our question answer session. And during the question answer session, we will have a more detailed perspective and a more granular one from Rahulji when we are having this question and answers discussed. Moving to the next segment of the session, I invite Rekhaji from USA to present us with a bhajan of Swamiji. I pass on the control to Rekhaji.
Thank you, Anurag Devji, and Jai Shaggudev, everybody. Bhajan. प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार, प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार, प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार, प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार। 525 प्रबल माया, तीनों गुण बरियार, श्वास उश्वास विषय में धावे, श्वास उश्वास विषय में धावे, नाही तनिको हार, प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार जब ले कृपा नाही प्रभु करी हो बूढ़ो भवनिधि धार दीन बंधु वेगी दर्शो दीन बंधु वेगी दर्शो मैं तो शरण तुहार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार वासना जग छूटत नाही युक्ति कीन्ह अपार पले पल मन विषय धावे पले पल मन विषय धावे कैसो करो संहार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार वासना में जगत बांधो सुर नर मुनि सब झार सोई छूटे जेहि छुड़ाओ सोई छूटे जेहि छुड़ाओ सदा फल दीन पुकार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार प्रभु जी सुनिए विनय हमार In this bhajan, Sadguru Dev prays to the Lord Almighty to listen to his prayers. It is very difficult to come out from the bondages of life. Each and every day, we find ourselves engrossed in the worldly pleasures. Without the blessings of Lord Almighty, it is extremely difficult. So let's all pray to the Lord to shower his blessings and take us out from it. With this, I would like to end here. Boliye Sadguru Dev ki jai. Over to you, Anurag Devi.
Thank you very much, Rekhaji, for this wonderful bhajan. Prabhuji Suniye Vinay Hamar. As you rightfully explained the meaning of it, it's a prayer to the Almighty to help us overcome our own distractions, our own fears, our own weaknesses. The seeker prays that I do try a lot on my own, but I'm not being successful at it. The seeker is looking for a divine help, for a divine energy to help overcome these aspects of our life, these aspects of our personality. With this, now we move towards the question answer session, the question answer segment of our session. So from Slido.com, I see that our seekers, the spiritual path explorers, and people who have been able to connect to this topic are posting some of the questions. And I usually in all the sessions, I'm seeing that people are very much ready with their questions on the topic. And very often we see that seekers do post their questions in advance. I really want to express my thanks, my gratitude to all of you for this kind of undivided attention. Thank you very much on behalf of the Vihangam Yoga community. So, Rahulji, let's start taking the questions one by one. And I hope you are able to hear me loud and clear, Rahulji.
Yes.
Rahulji, I would suggest if you can put the mic a little away from your mouth so that, it stops. I think that's the reason why it's, vibrating in between.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, kind of better. Yes. So I have a question from one of the previous sessions. So I think the concept of the control on mind and several related things were being discussed. And the seeker is asking, how can I control my mind, and how can it help him overcoming his basic instincts of fear? So basically, how does the control of mind, I would say, is also linked with, overcoming or managing this factor of fear? I think they are very closely related topics, don't you, Rahulji?
Yes, that's really a good question and quite apt to the situation. It's totally related. Once you know how to control the mind, basically what we do is when you tap into a tradition of meditations, you just tap into some altered state of awareness, and then which ultimately develop our conscious soul. And this development of consciousness can enable us all to dwell in the present moment, which we call the power of now. And there is complete security. We only fear out of some insecurity. I mean, although physical security is must, because our brain performs optimal in complete security. And if that security is denied, we separate individuals in the name of, let's say, citizenship, relationship. For example, during the time of recession, we have a fear of losing a job. So all fear originates from the mind. And if we know how to control the mind, then we will be able to overcome the fear. But let's understand the science behind it. Our mind performs actions through some energy. And if that energy has manifested into some form called fear, then one should also think at the same time that our soul has the energy to find it and overcome it. And once that energy starts flow, we overcome the fear. So mind is just a thought-creating machine. So let's divide it in terms of 3 layers. In the bottom, there is an energy, which is guided by Sadguru Satta, the energy of the soul, the power of the soul. And at the top, it's you. What is between you and this energy is the mind. Something you have desired and something outside of you has a relationship with the mind. It's a mental case. It's mostly opinionated. So, if you're driving a car, and if you notice something or somebody has cut you off, you should ask this question: am I still here? Should I react or not? So there's this term called sum, which basically means you're centered or not. You are able to maintain your composure or not. It's not your fault. That situation happens. Situation comes in everyone's life. And there was this moment in which the event took place. It came into your senses. You were relatively able to overcome it. Then all this active energy will start to react to that situation. The question is, are you conscious or aware about that or not? And that is why, I mean, when you were a kid, it was a tradition in India where we were told, like, most of the kids are scared of ghosts, and we were told to recite Sankat Motion. Kapi Sankat Motion Naam Tiharo. So that is why I invoke this issue of complete surrender. Once we understand this philosophy, that you can only control your mind through some divine inspiration. संकट मोचन नाम है सदगुरु बंदी छोर विघ्न विपत दुख नासका असरा सलांजोर. The moment you start believing in this, your fear will be gone. Just leave everything to the ultimate Satta.
Very rightfully said, Rahulji, very rightfully said. Ultimately, it all boils down to surrender, and it all boils down to the control over our mind. How do we control several aspects that are, continuously getting circulated in our thought process? Adding to this, I have two more questions which I would like to combine. So I'm not sure who the seeker is. It's anonymous, but both the questions are kind of pointing in the same direction. One seeker is asking, is there any fear that is good to have? And there is a second question which says, does fear becomes a roadblock for success, or it's a tool for success? So basically, both of them are looking towards a direction where is there any right aspect of having a fear?
Yes, yes.
Yes, go ahead, Rahulji.
Yes, I will start with a simple example. It might be controversial, but I don't want to go into that detail because I'm not an expert on public policy. But you see this self-styled godmen, they do all sort of heinous crime. And the basic reason behind that is because they don't have fear. They don't have the fear of God. They start projecting themselves as a God. And that is why you hear in the news these days that this guy has done this kind of thing. So remember one thing, and I will say it with complete authority, that God can forgive the householder. God can forgive the householder, but He never forgives a sadhak and a yogi. A yogi, when he is in the sadhana process, he has to have fear of apayas, of losing the credibility, of losing the prestige. And that will be the guiding factor, motivating factor in his sadhana. If he does not have this fear of losing credibility, fear of losing his chastity, fear of losing his purity, then he will never progress. And the ultimate fear is the fear of death. If you understand this fear, then you will be able to know why you are in this world, what kind of responsibilities you have to perform, and what kind of jobs you need to do before you leave this world. And then you can ultimately say, oh, how wonderfully I have lived. I could not have lived this wonderful life ever. So, if you are paralyzed with fear sometimes, it's a good sign. It's an indication that you are in progress. But at the same time, you have to be aware that fear is not affecting your job.
So, Rahulji, so in what circumstances or in what directions can we make out if a particular fear is going to be a success, is a tool for success, and certain kind of fears, they are going to lead to failures? I mean, basically, most of us already know what fears we have and, to what direction they will lead to. But if I talk from a general perspective, as I also get from what you have spoken, it can both lead to success and it can both lead to failure. I mean, it can contribute to both in a man's in a person's life.
Let me put it in some different perspective. Let's say you have some romantic affiliations with some country, and you think that if I live in that country only, then my existential nature will be supremely defined. And then that country changes its immigration policy, which is not your fault. Then you will always be in fear of losing your visa status. I have seen so many academicians in the United States, they spend so much of energy in just worrying about their visa status rather than doing a good research work, which is not your fault. Just believe in the conviction that you are here for some role. You have been given some role that you have to perform. The ultimate thing that one should do is try to awaken the artist within you, which does not work to impress someone, which works to harness the energy of the soul. Once we understand this, I don't think we will be distracted or we will be deflected from any momentarily situations.
Rightly said, Rahulji. I think it's an element in nature, and it's quite natural to have it. So nobody can claim that he's devoid of fear.
Yes, I mean it's I should call it like the Hindu meaning of intellectual is prabuddha, and then there is a Buddha who is enlightened. If you are intellectual, then you have some fear. Only fools do not have fears, and those who are Buddha. If you are prabuddha, you have some fear, and that is also the sign of progress. But at the same time, when you are in the progress mode, it's necessary. It's not for those who are enlightened. For those, our Swamiji has said, Maya gati nij chal mein bhakt chal nij chal, fir piche dasi bane maya badi behal. Then the enlightened one, they just follow their own path, and Maya follows another path. The Maya becomes their dasi.
Yes. So, as one question back when we were discussing on the aspect of mind and aspect of fear, both of them quite associated with each other. There was a mention of you about fear of death, the fear of death. And one of the seekers is looking for our Vihangam Yoga perspective on the fear of death. So basically the question is, what does Vihangam Yoga has to say on fear of death, on having the fear of death? Why is it so scary to us? I mean, it's a very natural question, because nobody understands why death is so scary, but just that we are scared of it. So what would be your thoughts on this point, Rahulji?
Is there anyone else joining this session?
Yes, basically we have, I'm not sure, but this particular aspect of the fear of death, Vihangam Yoga perspective on the fear of it. So as you also summarized in the beginning, that this factor of disorder, this particular factor, we are a sum total of so many incarnations, so many lives. We have been accumulating so many of experiences, consciously, unconsciously, some of which aware of, and some of which have been covered up by the dust of time, by the dust of the journey that we have had for past so many lives. In all those lives, we so Sant Vigyan Dev Ji Maharaj very rightfully puts it, and he says that this soul has experienced death in previous lives, though we don't recall, and we do have in every life it for the first time. I do closely associate this question with the perspective given by Sant Sri Vigyan Dev Ji Maharaj, where he says this soul has undergone the process of death and its associated pain for such an infinite number of times that this particular experience has gotten imbibed into us, into our chitta, into that hard disk storage inside one of the elements. It has been got stored that consciously or even unconsciously we are so much scared of it, because somewhere deep down we have felt it in our previous lives, in our previous things that we have lived. So that's where I would like to associate the perspective of Vihangam Yoga. From the perspectives of Vihangam Yoga, death is not something which you are having it for the first time. We have, the soul itself has experienced it several times, that it has the experience of the pain it undergoes when it leaves a life. And though you may not recollect those experiences, but somewhere deep down the soul is full of the experience that it has gone through. And that's why unconsciously we are so much scared to leave the word, to of this particular concept of death. For a Vihangam yogi, from the perspectives of Sadgurudev, I would say, Sadgurudev says it's a play, it's a krida for a Vihangam yogi to leave a mortal body. Don't you agree with me, Rahulji?
Exactly, perfectly. I mean, exactly. Well articulated, and I am really happy that you put it. I just wanted to avoid this particular topic of fear of death, because I had a survey before presenting this talk with some of the colleagues, and nobody was willing to discuss this. But it's a really important topic. The ultimate fear, that is the death, because. Yes. In today's world, we are just engrossed in small things, and we don't care about all this ultimate fear, which is death. You like to said and put it in right perspective.
Yes. So that's what I have learned from the knowledge of Sadhguru. Associated with this, there is another aspect, a very calibrated aspect of fear in our life, Rahulji, that most of our youngsters and most of our people in all aspects of life, in all aspects of career, face it. It's called fear of failure. So it's not the general fear that I'm speaking of. I'm speaking of a calibrated form of fear. It's called fear of failure. The seeker is basically interested in knowing it. What is this fear of failure? Though he or she experiences it, but is not finding it very comfortable understanding what is the fear of failure. Why I'm so scared to fail. Rahulji, I would like to have your thoughts on this particular fear of failure concept.
So it's mostly, there's a time factor that is playing the role in this one. Because you must have experienced failure in the past, and then when you start something, you are afraid of something similar happening again. So it's all mind business. That is why I said we have been so heavily conditioned with the motive of pleasure. Why we have fear of failures? Because we want pleasure out of success. And in that gratification, we always limit our total attention to pleasure only. So before we start anything, let's say it's not your job to be worried about the failures. That is why I invoke this philosophy of complete surrendering. You just start your job. I know it's very difficult to believe in that, but in Gita also, when Krishna was giving the Gyan to Arjuna, he mentioned that just start your karma. Don't worry about the fruits. So But the problem is we have been heavily conditioned with the motive of pleasure. We just want everything to be in perfect order. But believe me, perfection is a paralysis. There's always an agile approach to everything. Perfection is a paralysis.
Yes, Rahulji. Yes, I think that answers the question. So,
and the more analysis we do about this, it will be ultimate paralysis.
Yes.
So just start your work and just leave everything to the lotus feet of Sadhguru. I mean, it's basically harnesses the power of your soul. It basically invokes the genius out of you. And then you will create something that is not a photocopy, that is not a copy of anything.
Yes, correct. So I think that answers the question on the fear of failure. And I would suggest seekers who are looking for further details, or if they are looking for some more answers, please do post your questions. If not in this sessions, we will definitely take up that in the next few coming sessions. So the next few coming sessions are not going to discuss about any kind of a specific aspect or a specific topic of spirituality. Instead, the global Vihangam Yoga community has decided to take over all the questions that have remained on Slido unanswered till the session present. So in the next two sessions, I believe we will try to cover only the question answers which are pending up in slido.com/vygos, and we will try to fulfill our promise of not leaving doing proper justice to the queries of the seekers. So with this, we are drawing towards the end of a wonderful session with Rahulji. Thank you again, Rahulji, for your precious presence on this platform. All of us were, benefited by your discourse, your perspective on this particular topic. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot again. And now we are moving towards the end of the session. I request Tulika ji from USA to go ahead and take us to the Shanti Path recitation. Tulika ji, over to you.
Thank you, Anurag ji. Jai Sadhguru Dev, everybody. Shanti Path. हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांतिमय शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांतिमय शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति। देव सदा फल शांतिमय, शांति शांति सुख शांति। बोले सद्गुरुदेव की जय। Over to you, Anurag ji.
Thank you very much, Tulika ji, for putting across the soulful creation of Shanti Path before us. Thank you very much. And thanks to all the seekers and thanks to all the speakers who have given the precious time of their life on this platform about today. On the Slido.com, let me tell you one thing. Slido.com is a live interaction, kind of live interaction when the session is going on every weekend at 4:30 IST, Indian Standard Time, wherein the host sees your questions live and discusses with the host. Rest of the times it's not live. Rest of the times it's just a platform where you can post your questions, the answers to which will be taken up in the next upcoming sessions. There is a query from one of our seekers. If it is a live interactions, no, my dear, it is not a live interaction for most of the time. You can post your questions there and we will take it up during the relevant sessions. So thank you very much. Thanks to all of you. Regarding the topic today, it's very natural to have fear, so don't be ashamed, or don't be scared if you have an aspect of your personality where you are scared, where you are having a fear for something. Just that, how do we channelize this great force behind fear into an energy that can simply lead to an improvement in our life, in our personality every day? That is the science of Vihangam Yoga meditation technique. That is what this gets developed in your personality as a practice of meditation. With these words, and with my salute in the holy feet of Sadgurudev, I come to the end of this particular session. Thanks to all of you. I wish a prosperous life and a great health to every and each one of you. Let's see each other again next weekend at the same time. Until then, Jai Sadgurudev to all.